You know, people can hate on me all they want, but whenever I see somebody who is posting stuff they shouldn't be posting to the internet, encouraging other people to do very dangerous things that could impact the life and health of your animal, and then they're putting ads on the video knowing that the animal died, I just have a problem with that. Hey bitch, and welcome back to another video of me talking about people I hate. This video is a very sensitive topic and it's important that we discuss this. This video I have been avoiding. I've seen it. It's been all over my feed. Everybody has been sending it to me for the last several days that it's been posted. So you know what? I'm just gonna bite the bullet. I'm going to make a video about it and take it or leave it. I really don't care. I firstly want to say no hate to these people at all. I think that they mean well. They probably did try. The only real issue I have with their morality is the fact that they knew the horse died and they still posted the video and put ads on it claiming that they want it to be an educational video for people. But you can actually do more harm than good by putting videos out like this, which is why veterinarians don't post how to do it at home videos. So if you're unfamiliar, we are basically going to be reacting to a tragic day at Homestead Horsemanship, posted by Homestead Horsemanship. Now, I've never seen any of this channel's videos, so this is honest to God, an unbiased opinion. I don't want people to think that I'm just going into this video wanting to hate on them. I truly wish these people the best. The only reason I'm making this video is because I think that this is the perfect example of YouTubers going too far. So I guess to start with, the main thing, and we should just get this out of the way now, because the main reason why I just had such a bad taste in my mouth about this video is because the first thing I realized when I clicked on the video is that they had paid advertising on it. I'm sorry, if your horse is dying, this is a beloved family member of yours, I just find it incredibly unethical to post a video exploiting them and trying to profit off of it. There's just something so wrong with that.
I have a super hard video to make right now, and we've been debating on whether or not to or how to make this video and how to share it with you. My take on it is this is a video about horsemanship and about farming and about homesteading, and bad things go along hand in hand with the good things. So in real life, and to learn together and to share our lives together, I think we should go ahead and show the bad with the good. So that being said, if you don't want to see very sad and very tragic news, just don't watch this video. Click on to the next one. We'll have some, high points to share with you. But right now we have a low point to share with you. And it started this morning when I was checking on the animals, checking on Colt. I found him stuck while he was rolling, and I took a little video because at that time, I just thought, oh, that's a bad position to get stuck in. Let me maybe show the Patreon community. So I took a little video as I got him unstuck. Here's that video.
Well, we have a little bit of an emergency. Old Colt rolled over and can't get up. There, bud. How's that? That help?
Okay, so first red flag. If your horse is stuck and you have no idea how long they've been laying down for or why the horse had gotten stuck, if it had broke its leg or maybe it might be bleeding somewhere that you can't see, maybe don't pull out your phone and videotape it for an audience. Maybe just help the animal. I mean, if my horse was stuck, my first reaction would not be, oh, let me go and grab my phone and go film my horse stuck before I try and help him. Really? Now, I know that this might seem like a minor thing, but I'm speaking more towards this guy's intentions. If you don't know what's going on with your horse, or maybe you find your horse in a sketchy situation, don't let it be that your first response is to pull out your phone and film it.
You okay? Are you okay, bud? Let's check and see. Yeah, you feel okay. Come on.
Right, so let's check and see. Before even checking over the horse, he's got his phone out. You're not going to be able to thoroughly check your horse while you're filming it. I'm sorry. There's just something really off about this.
Yeah, you're okay. Come on. Yeah, he's okay.
So as you could see in that video, I thought he had just got in a position against the wall where he couldn't roll back over, and I didn't think much of it. I shut the camera off so I could feed hay, and I checked on him a little closer, and at that time, he had not yet bloated. He didn't look like he felt too great, but I couldn't quite put my finger on if there was a problem or not. But within an hour or two from that, Emery and I were outside, and we could tell that there was something wrong, so we went and checked on him a little bit closer, and what we found was that he was extremely bloated and starting to colic.
See, this is why I have a problem with people posting videos like this. If you ever have a horse that has been laying down for a significant period of time, specifically if they had been stuck, and you had no idea how long the horse was stuck for, why they couldn't get themselves out of it, what was going on, how long they were down, don't immediately feed your horses. I am not trying to diagnose this situation. I'm merely just speculating and giving my opinion. What most likely happened is he got a twist of some kind. And by feeding him immediately after him getting unstuck, could have caused an impaction. This is known as intestinal obstruction. Impaction can be caused by many different things. Colic impaction refers to a specific type of colic in horses that occurs when a portion of the digestive tract becomes obstructed due to the accumulation of feed material or other substances. This obstruction prevents the normal flow of ingested material through the gastrointestinal system, leading to discomfort and complications. Causes of colic impaction can be multifactorial and may include inadequate water intake, low fiber diet, poor feed quality, insufficient exercise, dental problems hindering proper chewing, sand ingestion, or certain underlying gastrointestinal conditions. On top of an intestinal obstruction. When people say call a vet out when your horse has been laying down for a significant period of time, even if you don't know how long that is, they mean it. Because all it takes is your horse to lay down in an awkward position once to have their intestines rotate, and then you've got some serious issues on your hand.
So I of course started treatment right away. I've been raising horses since I was a little kid, and I come from a family that raised horses, so I know as much as anybody else does about what to do and how to do it. And so started trying to treat him ourselves, and we walked him for about 2 hours to see if that would get his guts moving. Another red flag. There was actually a study that was produced recently, and it was on the amount of people who actually called veterinarians for colic in their horses, and it was incredibly low. Most people have this idea in their mind that they can troubleshoot problems without a vet. I've been raising horses since I was a little kid, and I come from a family that raised horses, so I know as much as anybody else does about, what to do and how to do it. Oh, I've got plenty of horse experience. I'm around horses all the time. I've been around horses my whole life. I know everything there is to do. No, you don't. Trust me, no matter how long you've been around horses, you don't have the level of education needed to perform certain procedures at your house on your own animals. And this is a real problem in the horse world. I see a lot of horses that die or suffer because their owners would rather do it at home for financial reasons or ego reasons rather than call a veterinarian and have a vet come out and do an actual diagnosis of your horse. Because otherwise, if you just start assuming things, you might misdiagnose your animal and cause way more harm than good. And then we went on to some more treatments, and here's those videos.
All right, so we've walked Colt for 3 hours.
We gave him Banamine injectable intravenously. I was able to find a vein even on that little guy. Banamine helps with inflammation and pain and stuff. It's one of the uses of colic. This is kind of like colic, kind of like bloat. It's what he's got. I can beat on his side and it sounds like a bass drum.
Colic, kind of like bloat. See, he's treating an animal when he doesn't actually know what's going on, and that's the problem.
We're gonna slip him some mineral oil to try to get him to be able to pass gas. We've walked him for 3 hours, like I said, and he never went to the bathroom. He never was able to poop. So it's not good. There's no vets available on the weekend, so I just have to try what I can try. So if you watch, I'll try to slide this down his throat. We might have to twitch him too, but I'll try it without a twitch at first. Becca can hold him. We'll slip it in his nose and it'll hit the back of his throat. And then when he swallows, I'll push it in more and we'll be able to see it go down the esophagus. Oh, bring him up here, Becca.
Now, I'm going to take this guy at face value and just give him the benefit of the doubt. Okay, maybe there were no vets available in his area on the weekends. Even still, I understand wanting to try everything you can do to try and help your horse. The only reason I'm faulting him is not because he does the wrong stuff. It's because he posted a video about it, promoting this to other people to do it at home. Please do not do this at home. Completely overloading the horse's gastrointestinal tract, like what he's about to do, can also kill horses, regardless of if this horse had colic or not. I understand that he's trying to do the most that he can to save his animal. I have a problem with him trying to profit off of this when he's not a veterinarian and doesn't really know what he's doing, and he's posting a video to the internet and putting ads on it, knowing that the horse died.
Oh, baby. Oh, oh, baby.
There we go. Now, I'm there. Gotta wait for him to swallow. Yep,
Head's back.
he swallowed.
So what he's trying to do right here is called a nasogastric intubation. Basically, it involves the insertion of a tube through the horse's nose into the stomach. I want to point out that this has a very low likelihood of actually helping colic. There's very few reasons why vets would use a nasogastric intubation method to treat colic, and it's once the horse has been diagnosed by a vet and a vet determines it's the right method to use for that specific colic in that specific horse. But you have to use very specific fluids, a certain amount of fluids dependent upon the horse that you are giving fluids to not cause an obstruction and further worsen the horse's condition. And not only that, but if you do it wrong, you can drown a horse. But essentially, nasogastric intubation can be helpful in cases of colic where there is excessive gas accumulation, gastric distension, or impaction. The actual insertion method is really delicate, and this has to be done correctly so that way you don't cause irritation in the horse. There are just several reasons why somebody should not do this at home without proper veterinary intervention or guidance. There's also no way for a veterinarian, and I want to make this very clear, to determine that this is the right method to use without actually looking at the horse, because nasogastric intubation is not a cure for colic. It's not the end-all be-all. It's not the one and only thing to do for colic. There's many things that you can do to treat it, which is why a horse needs to be diagnosed by a vet, because there's different types of colic. Not all colic is the same. And if a horse had a rotation within their intestines, this is only going to worsen the condition, which is why you shouldn't diagnose your animals yourself.
Sorry. Poor baby. Oh, how do you know? How do you know if they go to?
You gotta wait till you smell stomach gases. Oh, yep, there, I hear the bubbling. So I know I'm in the right spot now. No, it'll show me how much will go in. Just pay attention to the head.
I can always put the phone down and hold that for you, Jenna.
If I go forward and backwards a little, the air bubbles will come in. Yeah. Yeah.
The problem with this is he doesn't know the amount of fluids that need to be administered to this horse. They have to be administered correctly and properly, and there's specific types of fluids that need to be administered. And also the nasogastric intubation is almost certainly the wrong method to use for this type of impaction colic. All this is doing is just adding to the impaction and worsening symptoms.
Oh, buddy.
There. See how it's bubbling? That shows you it's in the stomach. For sure. He just had to move around to where, because that's all that gas. I just don't know how much he can take.
I just don't know how much he can take. Again, administering a substance to your horse without knowing the proper dosage is wrong.
See the last little bit go in? Now the trick is,
No.
I gotta cover that up so that no pours out and drowns him as I pull it out.
Oh.
Very good.
Okay.
Yep, that's about how far it would have needed to have been. I think that was pretty successful.
Oh man, this
And
is
now,
awful.
We'll just let that go through his digestive system and see if that does the trick. We've tried everything humanly possible. Walking's not helping. Phantomine's not helping. So all that we can do now is pray. And if y'all can pray for Colt, because Monday's a holiday. Even if the vet works Monday, today's Saturday, if that doesn't cure him, he will not make it till Monday.
What do we just keep walking, I guess? Should we just keep walking?
Maybe 10 minutes and then just let him go and see what he does. So unfortunately, out here in the country, there's not a lot of places to go to a veterinarian on the weekend. Matter of fact, there is no options. I called the emergency vet service hotline right away, of course, and the vet that was on call this weekend for this area of the country didn't get the message or the text alert. He hadn't heard it, and he didn't call me back for about 6 hours. In that time, my regular vet in Raleigh is a very good vet, messaged me back on Facebook Messenger just out of his, kindness and relationship with me, because he's not on call this weekend. And he told me what to do, and I had already done it. He told me to give Banamine, and if I felt comfortable putting a tube down one, he said to go ahead and give it some mineral oil. So I did that.
I get it that vets are people, they do try to help people, but I've never once seen a veterinarian give medical advice to somebody without actually looking at their horse. No vet is going to tell somebody to do a nasogastric intubation with random fluids that they haven't looked over without actually diagnosing a horse, because nasogastric intubation is not something that you do for multiple different types of colic. The thing that bothers me is this guy is acting like colic is just one thing. There's many different types of colic and reasons why a horse would colic. That's the reason why I don't believe that a vet would just tell him to do a nasogastric intubation, because that's not something that you do for multiple different types of colic. And this guy didn't even know how much fluid to give. Not to mention that veterinarians will carefully consider the animal's hydration status and also tolerance and reaction to the fluids given. That's why it's important to administer slowly. Overwhelming a horse's digestive system by administering fluids too quickly or in excessive amounts can lead to serious complications, including reflux, distension, impaired motility, electrolyte imbalances, and systemic effects, meaning that overwhelming the system can have broader systemic effects on the horse's health and place strain on the other organs, affect fluid balance throughout the body, and potentially lead to metabolic disturbances. Not to mention that excessive fluid administration can cause the horse's stomach to become distended or overly stretched, and this can lead to discomfort, pain, and compromised gastrointestinal function. So please just don't do this. I can't stress this enough. I hate the fact that this guy posted a video. I love the fact that he tried to do everything that he thought he could, but I hate the fact that he posted a video thinking that this was the right thing and promoting this to others and profiting off of the death of this horse.
The vet that was on call called me back and said since the mineral oil hadn't worked, it had been a few hours since I did the mineral oil, to try baking soda and to tube him again, which I did. And he also suggested maybe trying an enema.
So he spoke to an emergency vet that's giving him advice, but can't come out. I just don't believe, I've never seen a vet that tells people what to do over the phone without actually assessing the animal. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there are vets that do that. I've certainly never met one. You know why? Because most people don't even know how to assess situations when emergencies are happening. A horse could be bleeding and somebody thinks that the horse is just not drinking enough water. You just never know. This is why vets don't give advice like this over the phone. This horse needed surgical intervention. Now, if you want my honest opinion, this horse would have died regardless of what they do in this video. This is not the way you respond when your horse colics. You don't try to go and do a bunch of at-home methods. Call your veterinarian, because all of this stuff can cause severe problems and further impaction or even create impaction. When you don't know what you're doing, don't resort to the internet.
Keep shaking it. Yeah, keep shaking it so it's ready to kind of go up and down.
Hold his head.
So they're doing another nasogastric intubation. Why? No veterinarian would have recommended this. There's obviously some sort of other obstruction going on, and they should have figured that out by now. What they're doing at this point is just overwhelming the system. Now, further on, they do an enema. Again, all this is doing is causing more problems in the gastrointestinal tract. You are 100% overwhelming the horse's digestive system at this point. All of these things are not going to work. They're just going to overwhelm the system and cause more and more pressure and more pain. I can't even imagine the level of pain and discomfort this horse is probably in at this point.
You coming, Isaac?
Hear that? So the bounciness of the trailer is supposed to help get them to release gas. So then both vets recommended, my vet got back to me again later in the evening, a trailer ride. He said a real bumpy trailer ride will help get the, help make them go to the bathroom or jar them and jostle them just enough and flex their stomach muscles.
I'm sorry. I know that this guy means well, but I just don't believe that a vet told him this stuff. Maybe a vet really did, but there are several different types of colic. A veterinarian is not just going to recommend stuff and pull it out of the air that might help you when they don't even know what type of colic they're assessing.
So we hauled him for half a tank's worth of gas, and that didn't work too well. So unfortunately, the tragic news is what happened is the gas got so expanded in his abdomen that it was pushing on his lungs, and it got hard to breathe, and he passed away pretty quickly. So he is gone, and we'll have a funeral for him in the morning, and it's very sad. We've got a lot of kids crying, the wife's crying. It's part of farm life. I didn't want to hide this from you guys, so I just thought we should share it.
So I thought we should share it and put ads on the video. Like, what? You could have just told people that the horse died and that you did everything you could, but instead you filmed this homemade Walmart vet video about it. All I'm saying is I don't really think that this guy knows too much of what he's talking about, or anywhere near as much as what he thinks he knows. And if you have a vet that is always on call like what he's making it seem to be, it's really suspicious that with the amount of times he spoke to this vet, that the vet never once came out or even looked at the horse's body after the horse died. I just really feel like these people didn't actually call a veterinarian. There's just a part of me that really kind of believes that, and that's just my opinion. I might get hate for saying that. That's just how I feel. I see a lot of people who do stuff like this where they pretend like they called a vet, but really all they did was just a few Google searches.
And I asked him about doing an emergency surgery, and he said on one that small and that's that bloated, he said the prognosis would not be good, and he would just recommend putting him down over bringing him in for a surgery. So I just kept trying everything I could throughout the day.
I don't believe this. A veterinarian is not going to tell somebody this. I'm sorry, unless they're just a really bad vet. They're not going to tell somebody this type of stuff without actually assessing a horse. I really truly believe that he's only saying that he spoke to veterinarians to make himself feel better. Unless this guy is talking to terrible vets that will literally diagnose horses without actually seeing them, I just don't believe this, and that's just my opinion.
There's a chance there could be a bunch of backlash because we had a horse die. But that's a chance I'm willing to take because it's the truth.
I hate how he says that because he's already minimizing the hate that he's going to get. This is why I believe that this guy tried to do a bunch of at-home methods and just wanted to skip out on a vet because of his ego. He thought that he knew how to handle the situation, that he could diagnose the horse himself, that he could treat the horse himself without talking to anybody and just doing a few internet searches, because this is really common when it comes to horse owners treating colic in their own horses. They'd much rather do it themselves than call a vet. And then what happened is the horse ended up dying, and none of the stuff he did worked because he did the wrong stuff and the horse needed surgical intervention. So in the end, he's making excuses and saying that any hate he gets is simply because the horse died. That's not why I'm making this video. I'm making this video because I feel sorry for you that you lost your horse, but you should not have posted a video doing the wrong things and diagnosing your animal and showing this to other people on what they could potentially do to help save their horses and profiting off of it. You're profiting off of the death of a horse that died in a really horrible way. And what's hilarious is I've seen several people in the comments who are obviously fake veterinarians because they're telling this guy that he did everything right. I'm sorry, just from being in school for a few years, I can absolutely tell you that this is not what a responsible veterinarian would have done. I understand that at the end of the day, this family was just trying to save their horse and they thought they were doing the right thing. I'm making my video as an educational video so people know what the wrong thing to do is. And the wrong thing to do is what this guy did. What you should do is call your vet, monitor your horse, try and alleviate their pain, walk them around until a vet is actually available. But please, for the love of God, do not do at-home methods like this, because chances are you're gonna do more harm than good. And like I said, this horse would have most likely died regardless because it was almost certainly a twist or a rotation. But he could have made the horse's death less painful by just giving the horse painkillers and waiting until a vet was available to come out and put the horse down. And I also love how they're filtering comments, and I love how they're liking comments from people who are obviously just fake veterinarians trying to make them feel better. Again, like I said, I'm sure they mean well, but just please don't do this. That's why I'm making this video, is just a PSA, don't do this. Thank you.